This week we're talking about transitioning into e-commerce, making sure your business doesn't fail after crowdfunding. This week I interviewed Tim Nybo of the Vincero Collective, and you've probably heard his name before on this YouTube channel because he is the founder of Enter China, and it wouldn't be here without him. So we sat down and talked about what it takes to take a product from crowdfunding into an environment of ongoing e-commerce and having a successful ongoing business past the project of crowdfunding. So I'm excited to talk with him because he's taken two successful crowdfunding projects and put them onto an e-commerce platform and created a business out of them in the Vincero Collective, a highly successful business at that. So without further ado, let's do it. So Tim, how do you ride the momentum of launch? You know, you're planning on building an e-commerce business. You just had this great launch, but you have this wait period where it's maybe 45, 90, 120 days for some products even for your product to ship. So how do you ride that momentum and keep things going?
I think it's important to understand that by the time you've had a successful Kickstarter, right when it's ending, you have a business. You have those customers. There is no real wait period. You should have your website. You should have all of your assets already up and kicking before it ends. And so they're really the only transition for us when we ended a Kickstarter was actually transitioning from, our sales are mostly coming from Kickstarter to now our sales are all coming from our website. And we do that by, since we don't have product, we'll do all pre-orders, strictly pre-orders, listing the date, the exact way we do a Kickstarter. But we're planning for that transition from the very beginning. We're working on our website probably before even the campaign starts. We're getting all of those assets, all of those high quality product photos. We're building out our email flows. So when you're talking about keeping people engaged with the brand, we treat it the exact same way as when we have sales occur on our site, right? No matter what, there's always, especially with e-commerce stores, there's always a wait period by the time I purchase and that I actually get it. And that's key when you're actually talking about keeping customers happy, right? Because it's not the same kind of high that you get when you're in a store and you purchase and you're like, oh, sweet, I have it, right? And you get that feeling where you're going home and you're like, I got this good. It's that difference where, you're probably going to get it in a week. And so key to e-commerce, Kickstarter, whatever this transition you want to call it, is being able to build that rapport with those customers through email flows, through the social media, and all that kind of stuff that really attaches them to the brand.
Yeah. So I guess a question that comes up just listening to that answer is that the general population, that you're selling to after a Kickstarter campaign is a little bit different than the population you're selling to in Kickstarter. I mean, those guys are primed up. They're used to purchasing pre-orders. So when you start selling pre-orders on an e-commerce site for a brand that has is relatively new to the market, right? Do you notice a difference in sales volume? Do you notice a difference in trust? Are they much harder to gain customers once you switch to your website? What's that process like?
Yes, of course it is. Kickstarter's cultivated a community of people that are ready to give you their money. And a lot of people take it for granted. But the basis of the question there is it hard to get the ball rolling when it's standing still? Of course, right? Yeah, your returns are going to be lower when you're building your first customers from scratch if you don't want to include the Kickstarters, but they do help. Obviously, they do help. But yeah, when you're using cold sources of traffic, which are going to be the basis of growing your brand forward, of course, if these people have to wait, for most products, if you should have your production in line by the time you launch your Kickstarter. You already, you're placing the orders as soon as you can, hopefully, if not in the middle of the campaign. You're not going to be waiting, 3 to 4 months. I mean, that's just lack of oversight. But, if you are waiting a few months still, you can make sales. Like, that's how we built our business on pre-order. We pre-ordered every single product we made, even though it was on our own site. And yeah, there is that lack of trust. Yeah, you do have to spend more for a customer. But again, you're spending customers to, they're going to purchase from you this one time. And if you treat them right, you don't have to buy that customer again. They're in your funnel. You can sell any new product that you create to them. And so, You might have to spend 1-to-1 to get that customer, but they're a conversion asset that's probably going to give you, 2 to 3 times the money later down the road. So it's just, yeah, is it the same as Kickstarter? No. Can you do it? Yes. Does it take a little bit more, push to get the ball rolling? Yeah, but you got to get the ball rolling if you want to start a business like this.
Yeah, so let's talk about the where. On Kickstarter and crowdfunding, it's very clear where the leads are coming from.
Yeah.
When you switch to your own store, where are these leads coming from? Where are you finding those channels for sales?
It's funny because the ease of Kickstarter, it allows people to kind of get into the idea that they have a business. It kind of, the barrier to entry basically doesn't exist. And so people kind of skip over having to put in the foresight of what is a business? Like, how do I get customers, right? Well, it's very simple. If people are purchasing your product, then there are people that fit your target market that want what you have to buy. Well, if you have people that want what you have to buy, they're hanging out somewhere. So really a successful business in our space comes down to being able to find those people where they are, put that message in front of them, and they'll react to it. If they're not reacting to it, then you don't have something that they want to buy, or the message is wrong. But in today's world, there is no issue in being able to find those people, right? Every ad network, every social network has an ad network now that has everyone's information. We always look at it from like a multi-media perspective. We send traffic from a ton of different ways. So, whether it's content discovery networks, social networks, ad buys. We do a lot of ad buys on websites. They all work when you realize, okay, this is the type of guy that likes to purchase these things. How do I know that? Because you test it. But again, really comes down to, if it's not working, it's nothing to panic over, because you got to think back through the process. It's either that those weren't the guys I was looking for. You already know your product converts if you had a really big Kickstarter, right? So it really comes down to, okay, where are those guys, and am I giving them the right message, and then am I treating them right on my site? It's really simple. And so you have to pay to play, but you should never be nervous to pay to play, if you trust what you're selling and that people want it.
Yeah, you mentioned ads. Obviously I know you, I know your brand, and I visit the Vincero site, and I've been chased by your ads on almost every website I go to.
Oh yeah, and it's about to get even more crazy. We're playing around with a lot of frequency and stuff like that, and so yeah, it really just comes down to trusting that process and understanding in its simplest form. All it is, hey, I know I have a product that people want, and so I'm going to put it in front of them, and yeah, I might have to pay for it, but because I know it's a product that they want, I'm okay paying for it because they'll come and purchase it.
Okay, let's step back a little bit. So you're transitioning. So you've got you fulfilled your initial pre-launch orders. You've got your backers are happy from the crowdfunding campaign. You have some inventory now. What's the approach to switch into everyday operations? I'm hearing you say like this. It should be the same all the way through, always in that sales mode. But is there a second launch involved? I mean, is this a process, or is it just a smooth transition?
Well, I think you should be launching or selling hard your prospects, every other month or so, just because you're using those assets. Now, do you want to, have a whole? I mean, we're in stock push, through your email. I mean, all of your assets, you 100% should be, but in this stage of the game, there's only one thing to be concentrating on, and that's sales. That's it, right? Like, yeah, okay, go do some branding, go do some, of the back end stuff. But when it comes down to it, sales is all that matters, because you're still trying to prove that you have a business. And so that's really the only thing that you need to be thinking about: how to find more leads, and how to scale those leads.
Okay, we say sales is everything that matters, but how big is brand in all of this? How important is brand for an e-commerce business?
The way we look at it, at least, we are just developing the brand now. I almost look at it as a kind of a multi-tiered process, right? You got to prove that you can sell at volume, right? If you can sell at volume, and then, that people aren't going to buy from you because you're a guy that has a few thousand likes or whatever that no one's ever heard of, because you're like, have some cool product descriptions. right? You got to see if you can find and scale volume and sales. Now, if you can, developing a brand and lifestyle around your product and your brand is really going to help organic growth and is going to help drive the cost of leads down. So your cost of leads might be high in the beginning, but if you can drive them at volume, then you know you have something special on your hands, right? And so that's why all the focus in the beginning needs to be at sales and how you can actually go get those. You might have to pay for them and pay a hefty penny for them, but you know the market's there then, right? And so then you can refine your process. You can refine your brand, your message, all of your email flows, all of your ads to really just push efficiency through all the channels.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's really interesting. I mean, Vincero's been, what, two years now? Three years?
We launched our automatic watch in November, I think, of 14.
And so, and you say from then until now, it's been pretty much sales mode nonstop.
No. So we were testing everything. So we didn't know what products we wanted to sell. So we sold the automatic watch. It was too high to scale for direct response. And then we switched to, we did bags early 2015. Shipping was a pain. We couldn't scale that really. We messed around with wallets. We started making like cheaper watches, under 200 is what I mean, in like summer of last year. So and then we started focusing on watches. We got rid of all the bags by the fall. So we've been doing basically just the watches that you see now for like a year. And we probably won't launch another collection until next year. But we've proved the process now. And so now the branding is really kicking in. We're bringing on other agencies to help us with that. We're expanding lines. We got products planned out through midsummer next year. So now the process is, okay, let's build out our back end products that we can sell to people, and let's push efficiency through branding and those kind of efforts.
I guess this is the last question. It's a really open-ended question, but
Okay.
I just kind of see where you're going to take it. What should every physical product e-commerce brand be doing? E-commerce business, what should they be doing?
That's crazy open-ended question.
Yeah. It's like the 80-20, right?
What should they be doing?
Yeah.
They should be building big email flows, big automated email flows. I mean, it helps you pull all the money out of all of your advertising. It's hard for people to understand, even in today's direct response, say I spend a few $1,000s a day, and I'm not making a few $1,000s a day on that, the return might not be there instantly. But if you have a lot of conversion assets built that drip to people, ad campaigns that slowly hit very segmented people, you will pull revenue and profits out of those people down the line. And so the easiest ones of those to build are very segmented automation email flows, based off the activity that people are doing on your site. E-commerce is beautiful in the way where you can kind of give people what they want because you know what they're doing on your site. And so, if they just browse, then you're doing this with them. If they added to a cart, then you're doing this with them. If they didn't do anything that, but they signed up for your newsletter, then they want content. If they purchase, then you're treating them a different way. And so it really is just all about segmenting and giving the customer the messages and stuff that they want to hear, all the way through, all your channels.
So you're tracking all of this information, and then you give them what they want based on what the information is showing. What are some of the tools that you're using to get that information? And you guys are on Shopify, right? With this?
Yeah, we're on Shopify. We do email with Klaviyo. They're a great email service provider. We do ads straight through Facebook. Tracking wise, we use Kissmetrics. We use a ton of tools, to be honest with you.
But it's interesting. I think a lot of like green entrepreneurs, they want to hop into all the technological stuff because it's kind of the easier approach than actually doing the business of sales, like you were talking about before. At what point did you start purchasing some of these tools? I mean, Kissmetrics is obviously kind of a robust tool.
Well, it's funny, I don't know. I think there is so much optimization that you can do with everything from emails to ads to replying to social comments, to automating your social media, to everything. A lot of it is to do with the entrepreneur culture that everyone's trying to find a void to fill. And, so, you're in all these different forums and it's like, have you seen this? Have you seen this? It's really, go back to that multi-tiered system where it's like, prove your volume, prove your scale. You can achieve efficiency. There are some of these tools that come around that can really, make a big difference, but you're still trying to, stay with the brick and mortar, stay with trying to prove, can I scale this? Can I do this? Can I do this? And then you can look at all those millions of tools and adding them on and trying to scale efficiency once you're in, way down the road into the 7 to 8 figures. But get to that point first. That's the biggest question. It's not going to be like, people will spend weeks and weeks on like looking at this tool and looking at this tool. And it's like, that one tool isn't going to get you all those sales. It's not. There's a lot of optimization that can happen, especially when you have a ton of volume. So like, go get that volume. Another thing that's important too, I think, in e-commerce is the idea of the back end, and looking at your customers more how like information people look at their customers and treating them right. Because that gives you the ability to sell them a ton of other products that you can manufacture down the road. And so instead of doing high pressure sales tactics and, trying to do a lot of giveaways and all this kind of stuff just to get people there, we look at trying to get people there and then see what they do and then give them, like we were just talking about, content or, the actual product that they forgot to purchase. Whatever their action told us to do, give them that. And once they purchase from us, then really give them content that they want to see, whether it's, 5 suggestions on places to go for your next summer vacation, just stuff that they want to see. That's not about your product. Know who they are, because people are cool in the sense that if you give them a really well developed product and then you treat them really well, even if you make a mistake, they will always come back and purchase. They will come back no matter what. And so avoid the high pressure sales. Go for the building rapport with your customers. Do that by giving them the right message in the right way, using tools. Don't be worried to spend money on tools that are going to give you ROI. Don't be worried to spend money. It becomes, there's those sayings where it's like fear destroys hope, or fear destroys goals, and it's because you lose. Or yeah, fear destroys hope because you lose sight of your goals. And so it's like, oh, I want this business, but then I'm afraid to do this. Well, then why are you doing this? You basically are afraid to spend money because you don't think people will purchase your stuff. So why are you trying to sell your stuff? A lot of these tools, the good tools, will give you ROI, and so you got to spend money to make money.
Yep. So it's sales with a heart, and make sure you're proving your business model.
Totally. Sell things you like to wear, man. Sell things that are, especially, you're talking to a lot of people that are manufacturing in China. It's easy to manufacture crap products in China, but people will compare your products to your competitors, and then over time, people will really start taking notice, and that also gives you a leg up on the competition. So manufacture good products that you would like to wear. At least that's what we say.
I think that's a great note to end on. That was a really good conversation, and thanks for coming on the show, Tim.
Yeah, thanks, Luke, man. Good to be back.
What's up, everybody? I'm in the Charlie Brown Cafe in Hong Kong. Got some Charlie Brown paraphernalia all around, and just here to get their good Wi-Fi. But I wanted to wrap up this whole Inter-China show real quick, and this has been 13 episodes of going from idea to launch, and it's been a fun time, and I've enjoyed interviewing some awesome experts on these various topics that we've covered, from manufacturing to shipping to just now transitioning to e-commerce, and all these tips and tricks we've been able to share. We'll be pumping out really good content in the future on the Inter-China channel. It's not the end, but this is the end of the Inter-China show. We took you all the way from how to build an idea to putting that idea onto a launch platform like Kickstarter or Indiegogo, and then ultimately transitioning into an ongoing business on e-commerce. Hopefully this is something you can reference as you grow in your business, and you can keep coming back to these videos. So I'm excited for how this benefits you, and if it has benefited you, shoot us an email and let us know. Obviously you can put something in the comments, and we love that, but shoot us an email at support@interchina.co. Anyways, it's been fun doing these 13 episodes, and I look forward to chatting with you in the comments in the next videos that we put out. It's gonna be good.